Hey, what's going on, guys? So, I am doing a little bit of grocery shopping. I actually went to Walmart first, grabbed a couple more staple things. I mean, you got to be a good consumer these days, right? Walmart's not always the cheapest for everything, but certain things I know I can get there cheaper for sure. So I hit up them first early this morning, and now I'm going to a grocery store. I want to make the video as kind of a heads up. If you live under a rock, the government is shut down, and SNAP benefits, which is food stamps, is going to run out November 1st, which means there's going to be millions of people who don't have food. And because of the unprecedented situation, it's not normal. Normally, people don't have food. They can maybe rely on food banks, food drives, churches, that kind of thing. But those are going to be just emptied out. I mean, they're not going to even exist. There's just too many people who need it. So a good chunk of the people who receive SNAP benefits will probably rely on family members, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, children, neighbors in some cases. But there's still going to be people who just don't have it. They're just going to go without, they can't really go without food. They're just going to go without the normal food that they're used to. Now, on social media, we see tons and tons of videos of people basically saying, if they're not going to give it to me, I'm going to take it. There's numerous examples of mostly women who are just like, hey, you know what? If my SNAP benefits run out, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to fill a cart and I'm going to walk out. And there's nothing you do about it. And if you try to stop me, I'm going to hurt you. And if there's one or two people who do that, sure, it's not a problem. They're just going to get arrested. But if there's a lot of people doing that, I'm not sure what the stores can do. I've heard of contingency plans, like they're not going to allow people inside of stores. It'll just be online ordering and pickup only. But a lot of these people are saying that, you know, they're not even going to go in the store. They're just going to go in the parking lot. Whoever's loading their car, some old lady, they're just going to take her stuff, you know. Then, of course, you see a lot of response videos from mostly men who say, you're not going to steal my groceries. I will do what's necessary to stop you. And obviously that includes violence. So the first thing I want to say is it's not a time to panic. It's not a time to get riled up and, you know, because a lot of these things pull out emotions in us. What you see on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, that doesn't represent everywhere, all the time, or all the people. There's like over 4 million recipients of SNAP benefits. By the way, a decent chunk of that are people who actually work full-time. They just don't make enough money for food, so they get assistance. It's not the same person or people you think it always is. There's always more to the story. But yes, those people do exist as well. So number one, I don't think that it's going to be a widespread issue in a lot of places. I think if you live in a city, if you live in a bad neighborhood, it's more expected to have those type of situations. But I just want to say to just be vigilant. Try to avoid being out this weekend if you can. Try to get your grocery shopping done today or tomorrow. Like I said, a lot of us aren't going to see anything at all. I mean, I live in an area where there's people on SNAP benefits, but, you know, it's not as much as other areas, you know, but it's also blind. You don't know. It's not a certain demographic or anything like that. It's anyone and everyone. You know what I mean? It's every color person. It's every age. It's senior citizens. It's children. You don't know who's going to need it, but I don't think it's going to be like mass stealing everywhere. It'll just be isolated situations. We'll hear it about in the news. We'll see video clips of people filming it with their phones on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else. But just understand, those videos don't represent millions of people. There's going to be a lot of people who are just desperate and don't do anything about it because they're good people and they don't want to steal even when it's justified. But there's people who, and I've said this before with apocalypse type stuff, there's people who, if their kids are hungry, they will justify anything. And they will do anything that's necessary to feed their children or themselves. So some people, some places will see some ugly stuff happen. So just be prepared, be smart. I mean, I bought a couple extra things, some food, shelf-stable stuff. I bought some canned vegetables, different types of corn, you know, things like that. Not all the food's great for you. I did buy, you know, some like Chef Boyardee type canned food just for a quick, easy meal. It's high in sodium. It's a lot of calories, but it's something I can have if for some reason I can't go to the grocery store for a little while, you know. You got, you know, a box of ramen, stuff like that. You can really spread out. It's just you have to be creative with cooking. And that's something else too. I wanted to say that, like, the internet is an amazing source of information. If you're watching this and you rely on SNAP benefits to feed yourself and your family, please go online and look at all those poverty meals. That's what they're called, poverty meals, right? You can get creative. You don't need a lot of money for food. It's not going to be the stuff you're normally eating. It's not going to be stuff that you maybe love, but it's going to keep you alive. It's going to feed your kids. You know what I mean? A lot of different soups, simple, cheap sandwiches, ramen, different things you could do with ramen, rice and beans. I mean, it's out there though. Get creative so you can stretch the food that you do have. But not everyone has family they can rely on. You know what I mean? It goes for all kinds of stuff. It's tough for a lot of people, a lot of places. Now, I don't think the government's going to keep this going for too long, especially if stuff really starts knocking off and I don't know, knocking off what that means, but if things pop off, I guess. I wanted to come up with something else besides that. I don't say that. Things about to pop off. But yeah, I mean, if they do, they'll figure something out. It's not going to last forever, but government's stubborn. You guys know this. If you don't know what they're fighting for, please look it up. Please inform yourself. All right. I know there's definitely a chunk of people who just don't know. They don't stay with politics or news or keep up with it. So, like, they're just going to be like, why isn't my card, like, refreshed? Why isn't there money on here? I need food. And they're just going to find out the hard way and be super angry and, like I said, maybe do some dramatic things. But yeah, I mean, it's very difficult because we have millions and millions of people who rely on our government to feed them. And they could just shut it off. And that's what's happening. That's what socialism is. We don't want socialism. That's why that won't work in America. Because when you rely on the government for everything, and then they have a problem with you, they can just take it away. Government cheese used to be cheese. It wasn't candy and soda and, processed fried foods and frozen foods. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. My heart goes out for a lot of people. There's a lot of really good people that unfortunately get lumped into the group of people who are just lazy a-holes. You know what I mean? And for a lot of blue-collar people, you get upset. It becomes personal because you're like, I get up at 5, 6 in the morning. I bust my hump every day. For what? To feed these lazy people? That's some of them, for sure. It might even be a lot of them, but it's not everyone. I personally know people in situations where they just have no choice. They don't like it. They're not proud of it. They don't boast about it. They're embarrassed, but they have no choice. Medical conditions, physical conditions, mental conditions. I mean, there's a lot of situations, you know what I mean? So it's easy to judge people without walking in their shoes. So like I said, for some people, I don't care. Good. Maybe you'll go out and get a job. For other people, my heart bleeds for you because I know you just can't. So hopefully things work out. Please plan. Please prepare yourself. This is what I'm talking about with preparations, right? It doesn't have to be the apocalypse. Have a month's worth of food for your family at all times. If nothing else, for situations like this. Now, statistically, people with EBT generally spend twice as much at the grocery store than the average person. That's because a lot of people budget for food, but in some cases, people get more food than's necessary. That's a great opportunity to store it. Buy shelf-stable stuff for just such a situation so you don't have to worry if you're going to be fed. Right? This is, we should have first world problems, not third world problems. So I wish everyone luck. Like I said, be vigilant, look around, try to avoid being in public. A lot of places, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be a whole bunch of nothing burger. But some places, things are going to happen, and you don't want to be involved with that. So good luck to everyone, and fingers crossed this gets resolved as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.